What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Kamen Riders. We are a Kamen Rider review podcast, and today on the show, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Zeztz, episode 1. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Toby Tobes. How's it going, Toby?
Josh, it's the most important time of every year, and that is the day when football starts, and not so much this brand new Kamen Rider season nonsense.
I disagree wholeheartedly, but I'm willing to hear your argument.
I'm just raging against the machine.
Okay, you just want to be different.
You said what episode it was too fast, and you ruined my joke that I was going to use the lead-in, so I made the joke anyway.
I say what episode we're talking about every time in the beginning of the show.
I don't pay attention to the beginning of the show, I guess.
I guess not. And also, I'm wrong. They're not episodes this time around. They're cases. This is case 1. Yeah. How's life? How's things? How's football going so far?
I don't know. It's kind of stupid.
Are you agreed? Are you in a fantasy draft? Are you in multiple fantasy drafts?
Other years I did multiple. I am trying to get away from as much of this nonsense as possible. That's like extraneous stuff because of when I like to bet. But this year I'm not even trying to bet. I'm trying to just quote unquote enjoy Sundays.
Just trying to vibe. Do you honestly, I'm not trying to judge anyone here. Do you genuinely enjoy the act of watching football, or do you have to have like a bet or something like on the line for it to be enjoyable?
I like watching most sports that aren't professional basketball.
Okay.
When there's skin in the game, as the people say, it adds a little excitement, but I don't need that kind of stress really. Or like it adds to it, but I don't really need it. And last year and this year too, I'm in more survivor pools than I am fantasy leagues. For those that don't know, survivor leagues are basically you pick one team a week that you think is going to win. You cannot repeat teams throughout the season, and whoever is the last person to not screw up gets to win the pot, as they say.
Oh, that's fun. I've never heard of that mode of playing.
Oh yeah, that's like a big thing now.
When you first said Survivor Pool, I thought you meant the Survivor TV show, the reality show.
I would probably crush that too.
I know it sounded very up your alley, and I was like, okay, that checks out. That he's in multiple Survivor pools.
Okay, yeah. So last year I was in a Survivor pool where I did 2 entries at $25 a piece. The final pot was like $8,000. So I think however many people that comes out to. For the last 3 or 4 weeks of football, or of like my run of the pool, it was down to me and 3 other people. So 4 of us, other people in the pool started reaching out to the owner of the pool and was like, "Hey, we'll all just split the money if people want to like get in on this." So the guy emailed me once a week for the last 4 weeks and was like, "Hey, everyone's asking to like split payouts and like whoever wins gets an extra 1,000." And I said, absolutely not. It's a survivor pool. We're not playing these games. And then another week would go by. And then I guess everyone would email the guy again and say, hey, do you want to split the money? They're asking me again. And I would say, absolutely not. This is not how this works. And inevitably, I ended up regretting these decisions because eventually I lost and someone else won. So I'm going to run this back again this year. And all my friends were like, are you going to not be greedy and split it this year if you get that far? And I said, absolutely not. That's not what these pools are for.
Hell yeah. I respect this. I respect you greatly for not doing it. Because yeah, come on. It's called Survivor. It's not called who are the last 4 people who can collude.
Club, the gambling game.
Exactly. You're in it to win it, and it's all or nothing. Get on my level or get out. That's what it should be.
Yeah, because everyone's like, oh, aren't you mad that you could like turn $25 into 2,000? And I say, well, I went back and forth on it, but I was like, sure. But if I say no to these people and one of them choke how I'm inevitably going to, then I'm going to say like, wow, instead of splitting 2,000, I could have won 5,000. And now I'm going to get extra pissed off at myself. So rather than hate myself for splitting, I would rather just hate myself for losing because I lose all the time anyway. And it's not that big of a deal.
Well, yeah, it's like anything. If you're gambling, you should look at your initial investment as like sunk cost. It's just like that money's gone, right? Like
absolutely, especially how I gamble, Josh.
So like if you think about it like, hey, I spent $25 to play this like kind of fun game for however many weeks. then yeah, like you shouldn't split it. You should just see how far you can go. Come on. It's the same thing. It's the same thing in freaking Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You should never stop and take the money because you didn't have the money to begin with. You keep going. You try to make it all the way.
It was effectively like participation trophies, the betting game. And I said, no, not this time.
I love it. I really respect that.
Josh, speaking of Survivor, season 50 starting.
Season 50 of Survivor. Is it special in some way, or what's the gimmick?
They brought back, I guess, fan favorites again, or they're doing something along those lines. They've gimmicked the show out entirely too much. And so I have literally seen every season of Survivor. I remember starting to watch it when I was 16 or 17 when it first came out, if not a little bit before. I've literally seen every season of Survivor. And I feel like it's getting worse over time. And maybe it's just like too much saturation in my brain. And I feel like COVID killed it because I realized they could film shorter seasons for way cheaper. And they just bought the same location instead of traveling a bunch anymore.
Oh, that sucks.
It went completely corporate. And then it used to be like people wanting to backstab each other and stuff for the $1 million. Like, we're playing a game. Like, I'm going to survive, Soul Survivor, blah, blah, blah. And now a good chunk of the cast every year is people that grew up watching Survivor who always just wanted to be on the show. And they're not really there to like win the game, I guess we'll call it. They go for like, this is supposed to be my personal growth 25 days. And I'm just here to make friends and see how good I can do. And people quit all the time now, which used to never happen. And then Jeff Probst like yells at him and like berates him in front of everybody. That's always a good time. But yeah, like it went from like, I guess I missed when it was a more aggressive, holy shit, $1 million, a lot of money, and not, hey, I'm like an influencer and I know if I go on Survivor, even if I lose, I'll get way more like Twitter followers, Instagram followers, and I can give speeches down the road and I get on TV, blah blah blah. It's just a way different vibe. It's a bad show now.
Yeah, that sucks because originally it was electric. Like no one had ever done reality competition shows really like this before, and it felt very much at the beginning like anything could happen. Do you remember the very original, like back when like the first alliance happened in Survivor and there was like, you can do that, and like everybody kind of freaked out whether that was even allowed or not? Yeah, I pulled up the announcement of the cast so far for Survivor 50. So I used to watch Survivor every year. I will say for maybe the first, I don't know, 10 seasons or something. Like I watched for a while and then fell off. So I have not watched Survivor for multiple decades now at this point, but I have a history of watching it when it first started. I pulled up the cast list. They're showing me pictures of 6 people, and I recognize 4 of them. That's so funny.
OGs again, right?
Yeah. So like Ozzy, Siri, Mike, I recognize him. Colby, I recognize him. In the text of this, they talk about Boston Rob. I remember him from back in the day. Like that's crazy. There's this many of them that are like. It says that there are 2 people who are competing for the 5th time. their 5th go round.
Yeah, it's absurd. And like Boston Rob specifically is one of those people that like turned their life into reality TV star, or like competition like reality TV star. Like growing up, I think we might have talked about this before, but like Road Rules and Real World were a big thing. Do you remember? Like just in general when they were like super popular. And then like MTV Challenge started, and they were like, wow, we're gonna smash all the people together from the 2 shows. Drama's gonna happen because it's a bunch of good-looking drunk jocks and pretty people, and everyone's gonna hook up and fight and blah blah blah. And like that show is still running, and it's basically almost always the same cast. And most of those people have said like, my entire job is I go do the challenge for a month, I have off for 5, I might go do like public speaking about it. But in those like 5 off months, I'm just training for the next season of the challenge again, which seems absurd to me. Like they turned their entire life into MTV reality star.
Yeah,
for like the past like 20 years. Like it's insane.
I guess if you can do it, might as well. If you can squeeze that rock enough to get the blood out, might as well keep going.
Yeah, but, very true.
Yeah, it's what a weird whole industry. that's created. And now Survivor's been like passed by a bunch of other like way more shock inducing shows. Like, it's not enough that they're on an island. They have to be on an island and naked or whatever, right? Like
Naked and Afraid, yes. And that's always been one I never watched because it seems like too corporate, I guess. Like even though it's not, it just seems like, oh, the hook is naked people. You just watch the blurs the whole time kind of thing.
I think I would only care if I got to watch an uncensored version. Not that it would be like titillating, but like I feel like it'd be very annoying if you're just watching a mostly blurry screen the whole time.
And then Big Brother is like the other super huge one that has gone on forever. It's on like 2 or 3 days a week. Yep. I know in other countries you can like pay for access to 24/7 house feeds, which always seemed nuts to me. And
yeah, I always remember when I was first getting on like internet and video started getting big. I remember seeing like crazy things happening from like 24/7 Big Brother feeds. like I remember getting like clips of that like early on, a long time ago.
Because the same thing. It was pretty people or mostly like drunk and bored in a house where you're getting taped 24/7. And of course there's cameras in the bedrooms because why wouldn't there be? And then of course like when people hook up, then you see what's going on and all the good stuff.
Give me that juicy hookup footage in grainy 240p.
Those .qt files live streaming straight to the thing.
Speaking of TV shows, Toby, that have run for 50 plus seasons, Kamen Rider has certainly been on quite the run. And well, this week they started another season, and that's Kamen Rider Zeztz. Let's talk about it, shall we?
Let's do the thing that we're supposed to do.
So this is, as I said, they're calling them cases this time around instead of episodes. This is case 1, and boy, it kicks off with a bang, quite literally, because there is a lot of gunfire at the beginning of this episode. So it opens and a celebrity named Nem has been kidnapped, and it is all very stylish here at the beginning, and it plays out like a James Bond movie or something. And Nem is kidnapped, and they've made the ransom, but they're gonna kill her anyway. But she's saved by this secret agent who comes from this like secret organization. Again, very James Bond like. He is even Agent 7, as in 007. And basically, there's some elaborate, crazy fighting and gunfire. But then we find out that it actually is all a dream. He was asleep. This isn't actually happening. And yeah, he wakes up having basically a lucid dream. So we find out.
Okay, so we will. I think like we should do like chunk of the show at a time, at least for this first one.
Agreed.
Okay, so for the first part you just explained, it was all very stylish and cool. When he started actually shooting a gun at people and there was actual gunfighter going on, I was like, holy shit, this is Kamen Rider this season. And this started my thought process, which was finished by the end of the episode. This basically to me feels like Black Sun, but not like TV mature, more like TV adult teen, actual young adult. Like, hey, it's not bright colors and kiddie stuff. It's the brightness is toned down a little bit. It's a little darker, but not like scary dark kind of deal.
Yeah, it some of the stuff that they're doing at the beginning here, and then later, kind of when the first tension comes, it is really impressive. Like some of the shots that they're doing, and even just like down to the like coloring, like the color correction and stuff. Like they're shooting it much more like it's a movie. They're coloring it more like it's a movie, lighting it like it's a movie. That is darker and grittier. It's a crazy juxtaposition coming out of Gav, because it's a whole different vibe. Like it is, again, it's still not like the gore of Black Sun or anything like that, but it's much closer to Black Sun than anything we've had in the last 3 or 4 seasons.
At least from like all the seasons that I've known now with you. So this is starting the fourth live one. We've watched 3 others, so like I'm like 7 or 8 seasons of Kamen Rider deep now with my knowledge. And like Black Sun was always its own wild own category, but this is definitely like the most aggressive of any of the other seasons we saw, like O's, X-Aid, all the new past couple eras or the past couple seasons, whatever. Like it's just wildly different, and especially when they're doing like all the shooty bang bang stuff. When he hit the guy with the headshot, and like, and like it's like they did like bullet time. It actually like slowed down. You could watch the bullet bounce off the guy's head, and it took me a second to even realize that like he was shooting. It kind of looked like candy, I guess, or like sweet tarts. Effectively,
it's like rubber bullets, but it's like purple.
Yeah. So until that point, I was like, wow, he's actually just shooting people. The series is nuts.
Yeah.
And then like the way they shot the headshot, like you see the purple of the tab, rubber bullet, whatever, and like it squishes into the guy's head, and it actually looks like it is blood at first. And then they go out of their way to do slow motion, like watch this not bullet bounce off the guy's head.
Yeah.
He's just gonna fall over now. He's fine. And I was just like, wow, like we went hard, but we're gonna like clarify real quick. We're not really shooting people here, but it seemed like we were kind of deal.
It's that thing that kids cartoons in the States do, where if they want to show violence or show like a superhero like killing something, they have to go out of their way to show that it's a robot first. You know, like no, these are all androids, even though they look like people. Because when we slice them in half, they go burr, 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 and then their sparks fly out. There's no blood. See, it's sparks. It felt just like that, right? Where it's like we want to do the violence, but we'll do the little extra to show you that it's not really violence. It's rubber bullets.
It's close to the good old days when Elmer Fudd used to get shotguns shot in his face, and nothing would happen to him. His face would just get all like gun smoky, and we'd go on with our day. Same kind of deal.
It does. We've talked about it before, but that's a good point. Like Japan's relationship to guns is very different than like America's relationship to guns, and you know, I feel like their use in media is viewed a lot differently now. Like we used to be much more laissez-faire about guns in media and in kids media than we used to be. You know, in your Elmer Fudds and all that stuff. But nowadays, I feel like it's a lot less prevalent, and that certainly ups the rating a lot if there are guns and realistic guns and stuff. We don't really get stuff like G.I. Joe anymore that's aimed at young kids.
Those laser beams never hit anybody. That's fine.
and that was their way around it, right? And I feel like even nowadays, even that wouldn't fly. Like that's still like maybe a little too much. But yeah, in Japan, a nation that doesn't have guns really, it's interesting to see them get to play with the concept of guns in their media with like a little bit less baggage, and that's just kind of interesting seeing it from their perspective. But this definitely feels like, again, very James Bond. It's very stylized, and you don't really realize it's a dream at first because they kind of hit the ground running so fast and there's so much happening. You're like, oh, okay, I guess he's just like already a secret agent. All right, here we go. We're in this. And then, yeah, of course, he wakes up and it's shocking, but really cool stuff at the beginning here.
It was, and when it got closer to the end of that sequence, I assumed it was the dream because like the most I really looked into the season, I avoided all the spoilers I could. Other than like, hey, he fights in dreams, because I made like the Freddy Krueger joke 1,000 times, which I'll continue to make the rest of the season, I'm sure. But like, we got through a bunch of it, and I was like, oh, if he's being this suave already, it has to be the dream part, because like we saw him in the handoff to Gav last week, and from the general media, like all these heroes as the humans are never really like super cool guys necessarily. Like Geets was kind of the outlier at this point.
Yep.
But they're always like happy-go-lucky, I want the whole world to be a happy place kind of people. So eventually when it got a little too aggressive with like, he's just dodging bullets and blah, 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 I was like, oh, this is probably definitely a dream. We're starting the opposite side of this kind of deal.
And that was spot on, because the next he wakes up, and the he, of course, our main character, is named Baku Yorozu. And Baku Yorozu wakes up in his apartment, and he clearly, I guess, lives with his sister. and it was his turn to take care of breakfast. And he didn't do that. And he wakes up and his sister is completely berating him about his dreams. And he always cares about his dreams, that he needs to live in the real world and leave his dreams for nighttime. And yeah, he clearly is like the dreamer stereotype of like, you know, I want a job that can help people. And she's like, you just need to get a freaking job one way or another.
It's funny though. And like, I think it's that conversation shortly after they start mentioning the lucid dream stuff.
Yep.
And I mean, for those that don't know, I guess if you're watching this show, you do know now, but lucid dreams are basically, I guess we'll call it like a concept of life or something, where people that are good at lucid dreaming are the people that can recognize they're asleep and then do crazy shit in their dreams because they recognize it's a dream and you can just kind of like run away with stuff. And in general, like I've fucked up night terrors, but I also have super lucid dreams. So I guess I at least like relate to this of maybe not so much like the gun battle stuff, but like one of the ways I used to always check was if you like jump or try to fly and you can, for whatever reason, like once things seem too weird in my sleepy brain and I was like, this doesn't seem right, but this seems right. Like you start doing weird stuff to see if you can. And then once you can, like, I guess it's something you train your brain of like, even when I'm asleep, I know in my brain, if things don't seem right, it's probably a dream and then it doesn't matter anymore kind of deal. And it's like it's like a really weird, interesting concept. But I think the show does like a good job in general of repeating, oh, he lucid dreams or this is a lucid dream or whatever. And then like showing the core concept of it. Oh yeah, like it's a lucid dream. Like he can be a Kamen Rider, he can be a superhero, he can save the girl and dodge 1,000 bullets with just one gun and all that kind of nonsense. So I think they did a really good job with that.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, he essentially gets these like superpowers because he's in the dream world, and that's pretty clear from like the very quick explanation and stuff that's happening in this episode. Because I mean, any first episode of Kamen Rider is always like a whirlwind as they introduce a bunch of characters and a bunch of crazy concepts. But for as crazy as this one was, it was also like one of the more coherent ones. Like I feel like I have a good idea of like who this guy is and what his dreams are, what his motivations are, and you start to sort of figure out like what the conceit's going to be a little bit. Like there's still a lot of questions, obviously, but like I don't feel as like completely in the dark about what's going to happen in the season like I do sometimes after just one episode.
And then the two little things, one that I noticed earlier for the intro chunk, we'll call it, and one I noticed now while we were talking, when he was like, I'm a suave, cool guy, his little cowlick in his hair popped up.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it was moving to the stress of the situation or whatever. And they did that joke, or they showed it like 2 or 3 times in the beginning. And I will accept that today only in this first episode, because it was like, no, look, he's like 007, but he's also like a dorky kid. He's just like, haha, look at my stupid hair. I can't help myself. And that's all fine and good this first time. I do not want this colic thing to be a joke going forward, like every week of like, uh-oh, my spider hair is tingling and it's pointing towards the threat and I better watch out kind of bullshit.
Well, Toby, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
All right, that's stupid. I'm gonna rage at that at some point. And then I didn't notice it the first time I watched it, but at least whatever version of the show that I borrowed from the internet to watch, I didn't notice it earlier. I'm seeing it now. They show the bookcase in Baku's room. I'm probably going to call Baku the whole season because it's easier. But his sister's name I'll remember because I know that name. Minami? Yeah. Or Minami or Minami. I don't know. One of those. So the books that were on his shelf were Cooking for Beginners, Easy 10-Minute Recipes, Find Yourself Finding a Job, Manners for Job Hunting, Before You Write Your Resume, Getting Your Motorcycle License, The Laws of Lucid Dreaming or the Realm of Dreams, Magic Tricks to Impress Girls, Do You Like to Save People, What It Takes to Help People, Making Your Way in Modern Society, The Modern Man's Duty to Society, What to Do in Your 20s, A Gentleman's Manners, How to Be a Gentleman, The Courage to Sacrifice, The Will to Sacrifice, a CIA training manual, and a book called Agent in Exile. So reading them now, like obviously like going through them together, it really feels like, I mean, obviously he wants to be a hero, thinks he's a cool guy. He has crazy dreams where he's a secret agent. But I feel like going through the book list just now, like it pretty much completely explains his entire character too.
Yeah, it's so good. It's like every little aspect of him. That's awesome.
Yeah, and like, it's funny because even like the cooking stuff we didn't see it. It's really not that big of a deal. But his sister like smacked him with a ladle to wake him up.
And
like,
told him that he was in charge of breakfast. So like, yeah there's the cooking.
That's a little nod. The fact there's just one little one-off book called Getting Your Motorcycle License.
So
and him
funny.
being a Kamen Rider is like perfect. It's just a nod of like, okay, so if he can ride a motorcycle, it's because he read the book and got his motorcycle license before this and whatever. But even just like the book list and seeing this list now, I think is just an amazing, like solid, not direct, but pretty slick setup for all the character stuff.
Yeah, that's actually genius. I love that so much. Just even as like a little Easter egg, that's like, it's a really well chosen list of books for your character you're putting together. And also, in addition to all those books, he's clearly a spy otaku, right? Like he's a big fan of all kinds of like spy manga and stuff like that, and 007 style movies and stuff, because that's kind of what falls off his shelf too. So he very much is a spy otaku, and that's what's inspiring these dreams.
And at one point, like, it's either in his little intro chunk part when they're showing some other stuff, or at some point in some scene around him. It is his house. Yeah, like not only like obviously the spy otaku stuff, but there's tons of like not 007 posters. And we're leaning like so heavy into like an actual movie tie-in kind of deal that I'm curious like how much this season will lean into actual referential stuff.
Yeah.
Because even like my joke to you guys in our Discord at patreon.com/thekamen and to like just you in general or whatever, my whole joke was, oh, it's like Nightmare on Elm Street, because halfway through that movie series, all the kids realize that, hey, when we're in our dreams, we can do whatever we want to do. Like, sure, like Freddy Krueger might try to kill us, but we can be dream warriors and we can pretend that we have magic powers and become superheroes basically and try to fight him. And I feel like that's the main crux of the way this season is set up to work. And I'm sure is going to work. But again, like that's another nod to a super huge franchise.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious if we're going to do like more movie tie-in days or just like overarching references to things since we're already so heavy into it, or if we're just going to play it like a normal Kamen Rider series, or how that's all going to go.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting. We watched this. I watched this with some people in our Discord live, and we were kind of talking about it afterwards. And yeah, I think that one of the things we talked about is like how they're going to handle the dream world versus the real world, and is all the Kamen Riding going to be in the dream world? Because at the end, he does have the driver on himself in the real world. But like,
scared. He's like, whoa, what the hell is this?
Exactly. But like, he's clearly the cool agent guy only in the dream world. So like, is that going to be like the mid-season change? Is like suddenly he can henshin in real life too? Or is he going to henshin in real life like next week? Like there's still a lot of questions for me about how that split's going to happen. Cause he very clearly is kind of like two different characters here, and he's cool and a secret agent in one of them, and the other one he's kind of just like a bumbling idiot normal person. So I'm really interested to figure out how that's going to break down and what the week to week flow is going to be like.
Yeah, like, and that made me think of like talking this out with other people earlier too. Made me think of a generic thing and another movie specific thing. But like in the first Nightmare on Elm Street, at one point the main character is in her dreams. She grabs Freddy Krueger's hat and she forces herself to wake up, and then shows her mom like, hey, look, no, like my dreams are real. I brought his hat back out of my dreams with me, and then in the real world, which is effectively how this episode ends, where he woke up and held on to his fancy new driver shoulder strap belt thing. And now he brought it into the real world, which I feel like is another nod to the movies. But to that point, like the main smaller but main chunk of all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies was like the kids would be like, "Oh, I can't fall asleep. I'm not asleep. I'm not asleep," and they would go through life, and some random weird thing would happen that would be make them think like, "Oh, maybe I am asleep," or like it would click to you, the viewer, like, "Oh no, they're asleep. Shit's gonna go bad again." And a chunk of this episode did it where he was kind of back in his nightmares. He's jumping through a window but coming out a door where like everything is disjointed but put together. And in a 90-minute movie, I feel like you can do that gimmick for 20 minutes and it doesn't seem overdone because it's just a small chunk of the larger piece. But like to that for the series, I feel like it's really weird to play every episode with, I don't realize I'm dreaming. Oh shit, something weird happened. Oh, I must be dreaming. And then go off of that piece.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like pretty quickly he's going to figure it out. Like he's going to at least understand I'm jumping into dream world now, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, like, obviously the first episode, he's lost. It's supposed to be a new thing. I get it.
Yeah.
I know why they did it. But even like next week's fine or the week after. But I feel like 15 episodes in, he can't like randomly not realize that he's asleep again. If we're tagging this as he goes to sleep or he goes in his dreams and then he does his crazy moment of, oh, I'm asleep now, I guess I can be a hero again. Like I feel like that only works so many times before it gets dumb of like just waiting until it happens again kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I will say that sequence in this episode was like insanely well done though. Like you said, the transitions where you transition from like one location to a completely different location with no connection between the two of them, and it's like it's so disorienting, which is what they're going for. And then his slow realization of like, whoa, wait, I'm dreaming. That means like I don't have to be scared. Like I can do what I want. That was so cool. I loved how they did that in this episode.
Yeah, and like even we're jumping ahead a little, I guess, but like there's a moment where he's fighting the bad for the week, and he's getting his ass kicked, getting shot at, whatever, and he just like stops moving and just kind of smirks, and the monster thing is like, "What? Like I'm gonna kill you? Move, do something." And he's like, "Ha ha ha! No, like I realize I'm lucid." Like, and then he drops, like drops it like obviously he's like, "No, I realize this is a lucid dream." Which means I'm invincible. And he kind of smirks and he gets on with it and just kind of like fights back and kicks ass and everything.
Yeah.
And it's like an amazing character reveal since now we know he even studied books of, hey, this is what lucid dreaming is. You do this all the time. So it works really well. But it's not a repeatable moment past another time or two, I feel like.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. Let's we'll talk more about that point in just a second, but let's move on to the next kind of section of the episode. So Baku goes out kind of for a job hunt, and while he's out, he sees essentially a girl getting abducted. He heads out to kind of like chase after this man and kind of help out. And a couple things happen here in very quick succession. So one of them is he sees, or he doesn't see, but we see a kind of weird figure in a white coat, looking sort of ominous, and we don't really know much about who that is yet. And then also Baku gets hit by a car. he gets hit by a Hummer.
Fucked up by a Jeep.
Yeah. And yeah, essentially puts him in the hospital, and then we find out, because of that, he seems to have a string of bad luck here, right? Anything that can go wrong with him seems like it does go wrong with him. And again, his sister is like berating him while he's in the hospital for having gotten hit by this car.
And it starts what I feel like is going to be the inevitable line drop at the end of the series, where his sister clarifies, like, you have the worst luck in the history of humanity, and there's like, you got struck by lightning, this shit happened to you. There's articles that say like it was a 1 in a million shot this kid got hit by lightning, everything else.
He not only they flash those really fast, but he not only got hit by lightning, he then later got struck by a meteor.
Okay. Yeah, so like they go through all that shit, and it seems like he's gearing up for, or the vibe of his character is, hey, this is my one shot. It's kind of crazy that I'm still here. So I'm going to use my one shot to be like the best person I can be, kind of deal.
Yeah, I can see that.
I feel like that's a good story arc ending of, hey, look, like I recognize that I had all my stuff's like a 1 in a million shot. I'm still here. I'm going to do the best I can for the world because this is what I was here for. Like I survived a lightning bolt. I survived a meteor that I just heard about now. Like I survived all these things so that I could be a Kamen Rider and protect everybody else. And this is my life story. This was the actual goal I was training for by reading my silly books about cooking and motorcycles and shit.
Very cute and fun. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, like, it seems like that is his main mission statement. Like,
yeah.
Hotaro's was, I want a world for the Chemis eventually, but he didn't know what they were early. I feel like Zeztz has his mission statement almost immediately of, hey, like, the 1 in a million thing. This is my shot. I'm gonna run with it the best I can, kind of deal.
I can see that. That makes sense. We also meet a couple of new characters here at this point that are police officers. First up, we meet Officer Nasuka Nagumo.
They are paranormal affair investigators.
Yes.
They're not police officers.
No, they work for the Tokyo police, I think, still, just in the department of paranormal affairs. It's like a sub department of the police force, I think. So the woman is Officer Nagano. She meets Tetsuya Fujimi, who is the man who's kind of been on the case for a while, and he tells her about a series of mysterious cases with no explanation that they call black cases. And there's been a bunch of them, and he thinks he has the cause, which is nightmares. So she's very skeptical, which is funny because she's in paranormal investigations as her division. So it seems like she should be on board with this type of thing. But she doesn't believe in nightmares, Toby.
I mean, for anything like this, I feel like you need both sides of the coin to make it work. Like X-Files was Mulder and Scully, one that was Die Hard and one that was like, this is all bullshit. And they come to the happy medium together, and that's what like a good partnership duo thing. So I feel like it's the classic pairing, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well, speaking of nightmares, we get our first taste of one here. Baku wakes up in the hospital, kind of in a shock, and there is a nightmare who's shooting at him. And this nightmare is basically I joked when we were watching it live. From the waist up, he's gun. He's like a pure gun. He's like a 6-shooter on his face and everything. He's got guns everywhere. And from the waist down, inexplicably, he's like Splatoon. He's got like paint splotches all over him, like he's paintball or something. I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of that it might be paintball references.
I thought he looked like Batman with a revolver for a face, or like the ammo chamber of a revolver for a face.
He does. He is dark like Batman a little bit.
He even has the ear points.
Oh yeah,
he looks like armored Batman to me, for real.
And I think he looks pretty cool. But again, we're really leaning into like the gun violence aspect of this episode, which is especially funny. But this is when we get into the scene which we described earlier, where he chases Baku through various locations that are all disjointed and clearly like nightmarish, and Baku's kind of freaking out until he realizes that it is a dream and that he can fight back. However, it takes him a little while to sort of figure out how to do that. And meanwhile, while this is happening, Toby, in the real world, he starts to die.
Flatlines.
Quite literally flatlines. And he's still in the dream world fighting, but outside he's starting to die. And go ahead.
No, so the crazy part of all this, so when he dies, gets revived, does like the interesting stuff back in the nightmare world, whatever. He starts gearing up like Batman does when he figures out what to do. At this point, it was 16 minutes into a 22-minute episode, and all I could think of was Dawn Brothers, where it's just like a show, and then, oh, by the way, we'll do a monster fight at the end. and the fact that I can drop that reference feels wild to me. But it was like a really weird thing. And then like through all of it with him just fighting with a gun against the demon things, I also thought it was interesting of like, what if it was a Kamen Rider series where he never like actually turned into a Kamen Rider? Like he never henshin, but just fought monsters still.
I mean, that'd be interesting, I guess. It probably wouldn't sell as many toys, I would imagine.
But you just gotta make better toys.
I feel like yes, it's 16 minutes the episode until we start to like fight a monster and then we start to henshin. I feel like we can give it a break on the first episode though. Like you gotta establish some things like before you can bring in your monsters necessarily. So I'll be okay with that one at least. But after he starts to kind of figure this out, he gets pulled into a new location, and it's kind of this like kind of a fancy like library sort of a situation. People likened it to the.
I agree.
Yeah, it's kind of Wayne Manor. When we were watching it live, I believe Liv likened it to the Velvet Room from Persona, which I think is pretty spot on. And Baku is greeted by someone who is speaking English from the shadows. We don't get to see his face, but Baku knows him as Commander Zero. And while he's there, he gets his briefcase that contains both his driver and his little watch situation.
And they show his sick ass motorcycle that he will definitely drive someday, parked in the corner of the room.
Yep, exactly. So nice little tease there.
So it's crazy with the Commander Zero stuff because I had a weird, I'm gonna call it epiphany with this episode today, and I don't know if it's like as deep as an epiphany, but I had a moment, so I'm gonna tell you about it.
Okay.
So we watch all these shows in Japanese. We struggle through it. We do whatever. I have to read the words the whole time. Blah blah blah. We all know how subtitles work. So they have an actual English speaking main character this time, which in my brain was like, that helps the world piece of like, oh, we're showing this in America too. We're showing it over here, blah, blah. But the main thing to me was like, I don't really think about it in other media as much as I did today now. Whenever we do like spooky boss secret shit in like American movies, obviously the whole movie's in English. And then there's like the secret boss or the evil boss or whatever. And they speak a different language. They speak Japanese, they speak Chinese, Russian, whatever. It's always a different language. And I had a really weird moment today of like, A, I understand everything the guy's saying, obviously, but B, this has to be like the same exact feeling, but that Japanese people are actually having this time around, where everything's in their own language. They just watch the TV show, and then like the super secret boss is possibly speaking a language they don't know, and it sounds cool, and they have to read subtitles to understand them. It was just like a really weird like world merging moment to me of how this actually worked this season.
Yeah, that is funny. And like I think like of course it makes perfect sense, but like there's some aspect too of like for the Japanese people like, oh, English sounds cool, so like we want to include it because it sounds cool. And that's why, like Baku, when he henshins, he says, I'm on it because it sounds cool. It sounds like what a secret agent would say. It's the same reason like I walk around my house saying like Maji Day, because it's just fun to say. Sometimes it's just fun to like speak random Japanese, right? Like Nani, like it's just fun. So I totally get mixing in some English. I get the vibe.
Yeah, it's like and obviously it's not like, oh, pandering to English speaking audiences, because it's not that big of a deal. It's not the biggest character. It's just like 30 seconds of dialogue. Yeah. Just a weird moment I had of, hey, it's actually like in reverse for once. I get it now.
And it is weird and jarring hearing English in Kamen Rider still. Like my brain's just so in tune with reading and not understanding the words that when I can understand the words and don't have to read, it's like, wait, what's happening right now?
Do I finally just understand Japanese? Is this what it feels like?
Did my mind's eye just awaken? No, it's just a character speaking English. Okay, got it. Well, Baku uses this new driver that he just got to kick some major ass. Basically, he puts the driver around his chest, which shock, it's over his chest, and he henshins in a very like glowing henshin. It's very cool. He glows red. His eyes glow red, and they sort of slowly fill up like they're filling up with liquid. It's a really neat effect.
his henshin, the human piece of it, I think might be the smoothest, most stylish one of all the ones I've seen. Because he got his ass kicked. He like thumbed the blood off his mouth.
Yeah.
He was like, okay. And like whatever you said is henshin.
I'm on it.
Yeah. So he wipes the blood off his mouth with his thumb. He does like the Geet snap.
Yeah.
And then just slowly rubs his bloody thumb across the driver and like henshins. And like the whole thing is like, it's like super, like obviously it's supposed to be smooth secret agent E, but compared to like how goofy like Gav cranking his little Gachizo hole and everything else, like it just feels badass. Like I don't know, like it adds to the whole like dark but not dark season of, does he have to bleed to make it work at this point? Because he definitely touched his lip before he rubbed his thumb against the thing.
That's true.
So I was trying to figure out if like it's actually like when he gets his ass kicked it works, or if just like he's gonna be that smooth about it. But like it's the same like style as Geetz's was, but just less goofy and more business professional, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of henshins, across Kamen Rider and Super Sentai end up being like very dancey. Like either, in the case of like Super Sentai, sometimes it's literally a dance. Yeah. Sometimes they're clapping their hands. Exactly. And even if they're not clapping their hands, like sometimes it's like a lot of like swinging arm motions and kind of poses and stuff. And here it's just like you said, just badass. Like I wipe the blood, I say I'm on it, and then just like the cool guy like spins the thing and like we're in. It is exactly what a secret agent would do. It's a really, really well done. Like how would a secret agent transform? Well, just like this. Exactly. The suit looks cool and I think very powerful. That was a thing that like I took away from this. And part of this is the way that they're shooting it and the sound design. But all of the hits are like really, really heavy feeling in this. Like every time he punches the Nightmare, you feel it, and there's like big, massive blows. And all of his moves feel kind of like very deliberate and very, very heavy-handed. So he feels like a very hard-hitting Kamen Rider, like right off the bat.
When the actual fight part started, it feels, because there's like lots of things flashing, explosions, like more than I feel like a lot of other shows did. And I obviously I can't guarantee it, nor do I know specific timelines, but it definitely feels like it was built to be a global show because of all the Kamen Riders we watched. Like I feel like this one feels like Americanized as fuck, especially with the fighting stuff for whatever reason. Like it's just like extra, it's more like ground pound actiony than I feel like martial artsy at this point compared to a lot of the other ones, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, so it just feels like more American fight style to me than like Japanese fight style to me. But to like all your suit stuff, like all the times that he glows in the dark with like his bright neon orange power levels raging through him and stuff. When he did his like charge up for his rider kick of sorts, like he slammed his foot on the ground and like they zoomed in and showed like calf muscles like veining and bulging through his leg or like through his suit. Like he just seems like jacked as shit as the hero part. And for whatever reason too, with the fights, I guess mainly because they shot it in like a dark area to do all the glow shit, it somehow feels like super low budget but high budget at the same time. Like the fight seemed very dimly shot and just like two muscle suits slamming into each other.
Sure.
And then the monster guy got thrown through like 8 dimensions with 7 different worlds and then flew back into the dreamscape and everything else. And it got like super flashy. But like the main part of the fight when they were talking, like the Nightmare wrapped chains around Zeztz, and they just kind of like monologued for a minute. And then Zeztz was like, no, this is my dream. I'm in charge. And then the chains just wrapped around the other guy. And there's nothing else going on. It's just like plain black backgrounds. And the monster or Zeztz standing there, and the other person just talking to him. So it's like really weird to me.
Yeah. I think that's weird, but also kind of cool. Like I was into it. But I was not into the veins. I don't like that Kamen Rider Zeztz has a vein in it. They can miss me with the vein stuff for sure.
It was the show how strong he was.
I get it. It was just like I don't need to see it. I did really like though the glowing suit. It yeah, I don't think they're going to do it every episode, but I thought the glowing suit was cool. It did remind me though, I don't know if you've ever seen it, where people will like put like glow sticks or something like on their body in the shape of like a skeleton and then wear like a black bodysuit and then turn off all the lights and then dance like it's a dancing skeleton. That's what it reminded me of, which is very funny. But yeah, I think you're totally. I think you brought up a second ago, like you don't know if it was designed to be like globally released, but I think it 100% was, because not only is it very, it a lot of it feels very Americanized with the secret agent stuff, or not Americanized, I guess, but like Westernized, I'll say. With the double agent stuff and with all of the all the gunfighting and all the hard hitting action and stuff like that, but also like the fact that it is a hero that harkens back to the original Kamen Rider. Like the suit design itself seems like it is very, very intentionally a back to basics throwback for a new audience. Like we have to introduce these people to sort of what the concept of a Kamen Rider is before we start showing them like something like Gotchard or something, right? like we can't go too crazy right off the bat for these new people. We gotta like ease them in and show them what something like an old school rider looks like without too many gimmicks, and then we can build on it next year.
Yeah, like I guess my marker or the logic behind my statement is, I know we were towards the end of Gav when Toei put out that press release of, hey, like our business plan going forward is we're going to try to go global again. We're going to try to do this. We're going to cut back on the side bullshit and focus on mainline stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously for them to have that business plan in whatever the fuck month we talked about, like I'm sure Zeztz was about to start being filmed, if not already being. So, like, I guess it's just like chicken or the egg kind of vibe of, did they start thinking about Zeztz and then say, hey, we want to go global and worked it that way? Or did they say, hey, we're going global, and then said, okay, so for our next season, how do we westernize this as much as possible? And it's not like really that much of a difference, but like the timing does matter for that general statement of how we got so Western with what the season feels like for now.
If I had to guess, again, this is pure speculation. If I had to guess, I would say that they wanted to expand and go global, and they maybe Gav was in pre-production or something, and that was the reason that they did the production changes, of course, and started filming Gav early. It was in preparation for them the next season going global. Like, hey, we'll change our production to like facilitate it, and then for our next show, we can think about it sort of from the concept and like make sure it works for a Western audience. That'd be my guess. Was like it was a 2-step process. But again, who knows? Who knows what Toei's thinking? Yeah,
and we'll obviously never have real answers. So it's just speculation in my brain, curiosity kind of thing.
Exactly. The rider kick and everything here is very cool. I like the big finish, destroying the nightmare. Of course, we talked about before. Baku wakes up from his dream, and he has the driver on in real life. Well, and
before that last piece, the interesting thing to me, which leads into that last piece, is so when he says his finishing line, he says "fade away," which I think is cool. And
fade away, yeah.
And then, so not that it matters, but obviously, like Zeztz has lots of Z's. So he hits the finisher on the nightmare, and it flashes like ZZZ for the monster that disintegrates. And I was like, ha ha ha, he put him to sleep. That's kind of funny. And then there's a line post fight when we're doing like the final minute in the hospital catch up thing, where I think it was the secret bad guy that we don't really know about yet, or one of them made a comment like, oh yeah, like nightmares are what happens when your dreams don't have dreams or something like that. And it was like a weird wording of like it was mainly like, I guess, supposed to be taken as, oh, like if you don't have an actual dream, you're having a nightmare kind of thing. But to me, I took it as like, oh yeah, like there's a second layer of life within dreams where shit can go bad. And that's kind of like the second timeline that we live in for this bad stuff. And it's not so much like dreams or like directly dreams, I guess. So when he hit the monster with the ZZZ, put him to sleep finisher, he's actually like putting the monster to actual sleep and taking him out of the dream world into like whatever nightmare hole zone they go into when they die or whatever. So it just seemed like a weird like duality layer thing.
This season is very easily gonna fall into like oh crap, what's I lost the show name. Inception. It's very easily gonna fall into Inception territory. Yeah, just like what level of dream are we on right now? Is the top still spinning? At the end here, we get to see the cops from earlier when Baku sees his driver. The male cop is peeking in the door and also sees it as well. So the cat's out of the bag pretty early here. That this man is a Kamen Rider, or at least has something weird going on.
And it's funny because Baku's actor, or like the character or whatever, did an amazing job of like when Shoma opened his little shirt and was like, wow, I have a gav. He didn't really freak out or think it was too weird. Like we just kind of like, oh, it's part of the world. We're just going to go with this kind of vibe. And Baku like woke up from his dream coma, whatever, like looked down his shirt and screamed like, oh my God, what the hell just happened to me? What is this thing? And like almost panics and covers his driver up. Like his like his chest was hanging out kind of vibe. And then he peeks down his shirt again and he's like, oh my God, it's still here, and like hides it again. And that's when the male cop looks in and sees like this kid with this weird green thing around his chest underneath his hospital gown, and nice little setup for bringing the driver into the real world, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And also, yeah, like you mentioned, I loved the ZZZ, tying in with Zeztz with the 3 Z's, like really, really awesome name choice and decision to kind of like carry that theme through. Very cool.
The bad guy said, when your dreams fall asleep, the world awakens to a nightmare. That's what it was.
Well,
so it's like, so I get like,
so it's like when people like lose their smile, essentially, like when they stop going for their dreams, then they're susceptible to forming a nightmare.
So it's just like, it's a weird phrase to work around, I guess, because is it the best Japanese translation of what they were trying to say, and it's not supposed to be as deep as it sounds, or is it actually supposed to be like, no, like when your dreams get fucked, like you live in the nightmare instead, kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it's literal. I think it's reverse O's. I think it's people who like wanted to do something, and then for whatever reason, those dreams got dashed, and then they're going to turn into nightmares. That's my thought.
That works. I mean, that seems like a good setup for how this can get us monsters every week.
Yeah, exactly. Because we have to have the monster of the week somehow, and I feel like that would be a really reasonable way to do that. Let's talk as well about the release, the global release here, because I think it's really interesting. So we watched it live, kind of first airing as the episode came out, and this is streaming on YouTube. And there were, at max, I saw over 11,000 people watching this live as it was airing, which is crazy considering this is also a thing that like is playing on loop, was all weekend long, was playing on loop on the YouTube channel. So like you didn't have to be there right at the beginning. You could have popped in at any point over the next 2 days, three days, whatever, and you could have caught it. But yeah, like 11,100 and some people at the height were watching this live, which I feel like is like, that's an impressive audience, like, to tune into this for like the first time that it has happened. So hopefully those are numbers that they were like hoping for and expecting, because it seems really good to me.
Does it?
Does it not to you? 11,000 people?
There's 300 million people in America.
I know, but like think about like the average like Twitch stream that you're watching. Like let's pull up Twitch right now. So like
let's pull up Twitch right now.
I don't know who a good one is, but like
so main page.
Yeah.
So at least for like the two names I recognize on here, or three names I recognize. I Show Speed currently has 15,000 people. Hassan has 24,000, and Kai has.
Oh, I think you cut out for me, but
Which one?
Yeah, like if we're getting like, so yeah, like Phase Adapt, for example, is like the second highest person in the just chatting category, and he's got 12,000 viewers. So this had about the same number of people as like it would be number 2 in just chatting, which is the biggest category in Twitch. Like I feel like that's pretty good.
I guess I don't know how to judge.
Oh wait, hang on. I might be sorting as it might be okay, well, no. So it would be 4th then in this case. I wasn't viewing everybody. But it'd be like around 4th.
Like I don't know. That seems like a weird marker to me, because I guess to me, I guess I'll call it being pessimistic, but I'm really not trying to be. Like, they were all pumped, hyped. Hey, this is the first time ever in America you can just watch the show. We're going to let you just watch the show. Hey, giant country that steals us every time. Like, this is your chance. This is your gap. And after like all that hype, I feel like having 10,000 people doesn't seem like a lot to me. I guess I don't know streaming numbers to know any better, because like I said, like Hassan has like 24,000 right now, and like he's
huge. He is. Yeah, like I mean,
right, but then so he's twice the size of Kamen Rider.
Yeah, which I think is reasonable, honestly. Like I think that is, because I also think too, like he's, if we're looking at speed, like if you're looking at like Hassan or like I Show Speed, these are like really established streamers who've like built this audience over time. And like, yes, Kamen Rider had an audience from the illegal downloading, but that's like an audience of people who are used to downloading these episodes on their own time and watching them on their own time. Like, it's not an audience that's trained to show up at a certain place at a certain time and watch something live. So I feel like to turn that audience, to activate that audience, if you want to talk in marketing terms, like right off the bat, like first try, that felt like good numbers to me based on that. But
I don't know. It's a weird gap for me, because like, right, they're not trained on things, whatever. It was the first time ever for a special thing, and it was 10,000 people.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. In my head, because it's so niche, right? You have to know that it exists, and then you have to know how to get it. And those are like two massive hurdles. It felt like in my head that the audience for Kamen Rider in the States and in the West was way small. And like in my head, I would have guessed that it was much smaller than even these numbers indicate. So maybe I had a more pessimistic view on the fandom in the West than it was actually the truth. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see going forward if that sort of what like their average ends up being.
Oh yeah, like if it goes up or down. And I guess that's all that really matters. And like, again, like none of this is me actively trying to shit on it. I generally think it's cool that it was streamed for everyone as a normal show, and not this illegal secret that everyone that's not in Japan that wants to watch it just has to steal it every time. It's just, I guess I don't know how to judge streaming numbers, or like, I guess I didn't think it was as niche, like Kamen Rider, Toku, Sentai, whatever. I guess I didn't think it was as niche as it was, because like we get Godzilla in movie theaters here and that. So I don't know. It was a weird gap. And then you saying like 10,000 people, just, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a lot, I guess.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I don't know how to judge. And again, I'm not trying to shit on it. If that's considered a ton for streaming, more power to them. I don't know any better. It just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm putting it in like my context of the streamers that I watch the most. So that could just be like, hey, I don't watch popular streamers. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe the people I watch are just not the biggest names. But I think Godzilla's a good example, because like that's also like, even though they're both toku shows from Japan, again, like Godzilla is a property that like we've trained Western audiences on for years and years and years. Because like those movies come over, like, you know, even back in the day when they were like more kitschy, Like
Matthew
you could,
Broderick was in one.
yeah,
Jeff
exactly.
Goldblum, one of them.
We had adaptations where we were making Western American versions of the movies. So even though we weren't getting maybe the exact ones we were seeing in Japan, we were getting our own versions, and that made it very popular. And then we were getting, you know, the the very campy Japanese versions over. You could always get DVDs and stuff of those things. So like, yeah, I feel like Godzilla is way, way higher in sort of the pop culture zeitgeist in the United States than something like Kamen Rider. And I think even Sentai maybe is a little bit higher than Kamen Rider because of the Power Rangers connection.
Yeah.
So like with Kamen Rider, we literally have only ever had like the 2 attempts at a TV show, and both of them failed like catastrophically. So
the one was just that weird Fox Mask Rider, right? That was like we tried to Power Rangerize the tier of what was going on there.
And then they did Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, which was like I think a good show, but like no one watched it. So they didn't really continue. But anyway, it's interesting. I'll be very interested to sort of like keep an eye on those things, because yeah, I'm curious to see whether this is gonna like be massive or still kind of continue to be a niche or kind of somewhere between, and it'll be interesting to watch that. And speaking of things that are niche, let's jump over to our emails, Toby.
I guess those are niche.
I didn't really have a good transition.
Well, then before we did summarize the episode? Like,
feel free, take it away.
No, I'm just asking you. Like,
I mean,
you feel like you said like your thoughts on the whole thing, kind of?
Yeah, I think I really liked it. I think that like any first episode of Kamen Rider, there's a lot going on, so it's like it is a visual auditory experience that feels very fast paced, but I feel like I understood everything that they were kind of showing me. I think that a lot of the cinematography in this was like really impressive, and kind of on a different level than some of the stuff we've seen before in Kamen Rider. And I'm really, really excited about this main character because I think he's really cool so far. And I'm really, really liking some of the things that we've seen. Like his henshin is very cool. I think the difference between his dream persona and his real world persona is really neat and interesting. And it shows he has a lot of range. So I'm pretty optimistic, I think, about him as a main rider too.
I'm just stoked that it seems way less kid driven than the other seasons.
Definitely.
I'm gonna say again, that's the westernization part. I kind of feel like too, to make people over here care or be into it versus like a show of Gav's nature. But I think that like coming off the past 2 seasons have been kiddie silly fun. It feels cool to get dark with the season and actually shoot guns at people and that kind of stuff. Not in any sort of like I need real danger and violence in my Kamen Rider. But you know how stoked I was on Black Sun. And I feel like this is the closest to a full season of Black Sun without the body gore that I will ever get. So like I'm all about this at this point. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for more.
Yeah, I appreciate that they alternate the tones in Kamen Rider, because I don't mind the ones that are a little bit more, you know, fun and colorful, because like, you know, Gav was fun and colorful, and that's like one of my favorite series of all time. Like that one was really, really good. Gotchard was like fun and colorful as well. But I'm glad we get ones like this. And you know, Geats was like a little bit more of a serious tone, but not quite as dark and gritty, but serious, right? And this is definitely serious and seemingly going to be a little darker and grittier and a little bit more violent. And I'm happy that we get that back and forth, because there's definitely pros and cons to both versions for sure. All right. And with that,
now you can go to email.
Yeah, I'll jump into emails here. Our email this week comes in from our friend Shade. Of course, if you would like to send us in emails, you can send those over to cast@KamenRiderSucks.com. Once again, that is cast@KamenRiderSucks.com. Shade says, mission number 1, good morning, comment writers. Greetings, listeners. This week, most of the world has had the privilege of witnessing Agent Code number 7's very first mission. This email's purpose will be to brief everyone on the behind the scenes and news of Code Number 7's current and future missions. Today, we will be looking at case file number 0 and number 1. So this is the kind of translation stuff from the producer's blog that Shade normally gives us. And one of the features that they're doing in the producer's blog is Zeztz closets. So like the word closet, but with Z's in it. And it's being written by the stylist for the show and talking about the costumes of the show, which is, I think, very interesting. So they show off, first off, the couple iterations for Baku's outfit, his kind of secret agent outfit, before they settled on kind of his current version with the white shirt and sort of the gun holster. And yeah, they tried a few things that were kind of suit based, but I definitely like the current version the best out of all of them. So I guess well done on that. They talk about liking the extra thick leather belt, which I find very funny. And yeah, they talked about it without a coat. And they say, I'm proud that we're able to combine various elements to create an agent that is characteristic of Kamen Rider Zeztz. I couldn't be happier to have been able to bring director Kami Horiyuchi's artistic view to life with everyone. They're referencing James Bond, Ethan Hunt, and Yorozu Baku. This lineup may become the prototype for future agents. I hope so. May you have sweet dreams tonight. End of file. And then Shade points out that Baku's outfit is totally Daniel Craig's outfit from No Time to Die, where in that movie he's wearing like a white shirt and suspenders with black pants. And yes, it is a strikingly similar looking outfit to Baku's. So
he has during like the gun shooting parts, he has a very distinct looking pistol that has like the super narrow barrel tip part thing.
Yep.
And all I could think was Indiana Jones with the tucked in white shirt, the sporty bag, the gun. So, I mean, obviously a more direct James Bond comparison works, but I was leaning Indiana Jones.
Yeah, the gun for sure is very Indiana Jones. It's very like German World War II looking. I don't know much about guns, but yeah, it has that vibe for sure of that era. They go on to say, our Kamen Rider Zeztz, also known as Agent Code Number 7, and Yorozu Baku is Imae Ryutaro. For the very first day of filming, there was a ton of stuff to shoot, including a scene where he was chased around by the gun nightmare. And by the time filming was over, Imae was completely exhausted. He worked very hard from the very first day. And there's a picture of him just like laying on the ground from where he got hit by the car. It's pretty good. Imae is just like the character he plays. Normally, he's like a cute golden retriever, says director Kami Horiyuchi. But when he switches on, his expression becomes extremely sharp. And then Zeztz glows. As he is the Dream Rider, there are many night scenes with Zeztz, and his red really stands out against the darkness. The glowing suit doesn't appear in every episode, but when it does, the staff gets excited too. Baku's catchphrase is "I'm on it" in English. He's a big fan of spy movies like James Bond, and he speaks English like a gentleman spy.
I guess that's true. I mean, like, so far so good, and this all checks out for what they're trying to do.
Yep. Then they're back to the closet for episode 1. They're talking about Nim's dress. The bright red dress is layered with organza, giving it an elegant yet light impression. This lightness was kept around as a keyword for her outfit. We tried other colors, mainly red, and all of them were hard to choose, but we decided that this was the best dress fit for the story and situation. And then in parentheses, Shade says, I don't know anything about fashion. Not sure if I'm qualified to cover this. Me neither.
To that point, and the thing I was going back and forth with our Discord's navigator about that we weren't sure, but I'm pretty sure. The girl that... This is a question to you, Josh, now. It's more of a question than a statement or a confirmation looking kind of topic.
Okay.
So the girl that was in all of his dreams, the one that he rescued in the intro, the secondary part, whatever.
Uh-huh.
That was the same girl that's like the idol that was on the billboards, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I was trying to... wasn't the face blindness was kind of kicking in, and it was kind of hard to tell, but when I assumed it was because my thought process was, yes, he knows the idol girl from TV, and of course it's the girl of his dreams. So of course in his dreams he rescues the girl that he...
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly how I read it. Was like she was in his subconscious or whatever, in his conscious, because she's a famous movie star and he sees her on billboards every day. So obviously she's the name he's going to insert. She's the face he's going to insert in his dream. Which is cool.
I'm saying specifically dream girl. Like he is the girl of his dream.
Oh, that might be like,
yeah. That will be the relationshipy possibility down the road if he meets her and like, the girl of my dreams. No, I get pulled into the nightmare zone too when you pull me in there. Like you're actively pulling me in dreams with you. Please stop.
Yeah, I totally can see that being the thing that happens. Because also at one point, like he, like early on in this, he starts to save her and she turns around and like it looks like they're gonna, kiss or whatever. So, yeah, so I can see this being the love interest, and then she's privy to these dreams happening and stuff like that. That would make sense to me. Absolutely. Shade goes on to tell us some more news, Toby. First up, they have announced a TTFC, Toei Tokusatsu Fan Club spinoff for Zeztz. So already we're doing the spinoffs. This one is called Series of Sisters Sub-Story. So it is, Shade says, from what I understand, it's about Baku's sister getting into her own wacky spy adventure. The first episode's already out and it's already been subtitled. It's I think 3 or 4 minutes long. So I have not watched it yet, but it is apparently out there. And we're already getting a spinoff show.
Our Discord's navigator watched it and she said that it was really weird and she wasn't really sure where it was supposed to be going.
Fair enough.
If I remember the conversation correctly.
Shade says, in case you guys didn't know, Shout has updated how their streams of Zeztz will work. So this is an update from last time we talked about it. The newest episode of Zeztz will now stream continuously 24/7 after the premiere through Monday. So basically Saturday night in the United States through Monday. So you kind of have a couple days to watch it. There will also be 5-episode mini marathons that can be replayed VOD, that can be replayed as VODs weeks. That sentence doesn't really work. That can be replayed VOD as weeks go on. All showings are completely free. So basically they gave you even more opportunities to watch it. Shade says, then after a few more days, they have updated the streams to be rewindable. So it'll be pretty easy to watch the show, even if it's not technically just one episode viewable on demand. It'll be pretty easy to make sure that you can see it, it sounds like. And of course,
at least they pulled that together better than it was before, so.
Yeah, as of a week ago, it was a little iffy, and now it's okay, clearly working within the constraints of your licensing agreement, this is pretty well done, right? This is kind of the best that I could see that you could do when clearly there is a limitation in the licensing that prevents you from just uploading it to YouTube.
Yeah.
And of course, it still shows up in all the various illegal places if you want to acquire it that way. Right away, it showed up there, and I was able to download it afterwards, and all that's fine. So the world still rolls that way too, if you would like. Shade goes on to tell us that in other news, Kamen Rider Global announced that Zeztz is coming to LA Comic-Con. First time that Kamen Rider is coming to Comic-Con, which is very cool. Join us for an action-packed weekend featuring Kamen Rider Double Forever, A to Z, the Gaia Memories of Fate sub-movie screening. So they're going to play a Kamen Rider movie. And there's going to be a panel session with the producer of Zeztz. And then they're going to air Zeztz episodes 1 through 4 at Comic-Con as well.
A live producer's blog.
Exactly.
It's the most you could ask for.
They say they can't wait to meet our fans in LA and share this epic experience together. That's super cool. I kind of can't believe, as someone who has been stealing these shows for however long now, that they're just going to show up at Comic-Con. That's wild to me.
It's a real official thing.
Shade sends us a picture of the books that Baku was reading, which you read earlier to me, which is very fun. And then the Kamen Rider Diner has updated their menu for Zeztz now, and to take a gander at what type of food you think they'd be serving. Just what a guess in the dark. What do you think it might be?
Fotinis shaken, not stirred.
Well, there is it is a drink. One is a drink. It's code number 7, fruit Coke with green apple syrup, lychee syrup, and then cherry Coke inside of it. Which doesn't sound terrible. I would try it.
It sounds decent enough.
Yeah, and it looks cool. It's like green on the bottom, and then like transitions into Coke color at the top. But the main dish here, and the thing I'm going to send you this image for, is the main food, which is a Zeztz driver hot dog. So just take a look at that hot dog situation that they've got going on there. They're clearly styling it to make it look like the driver across his chest. But they have created maybe the most unappetizing food that I have ever seen assembled before.
That's gonna give you the good the blue shits, because black dyed buns definitely make the poops blue.
Yep, black dyed bun, the reddest hot dog, the reddest, thinnest hot dog I've ever seen, and then smack dab in the middle to represent the capsum is something I don't really know. It looks to me like a giant mound of ketchup, but it clearly...
like when they make omurice and they put like that giant like blob of ketchup over top of it. It looks like that.
Oh no, I've zoomed in and I've read the fine print. That in the center is a meatball.
Hell yeah. I'm in now. That's fantastic.
It also somewhere features avocado sauce. I'm assuming that's what's underneath the meatball. So hot dog, meatball, ketchup, avocado sauce. And then it's surrounded by lettuce, and the lettuce in the photo is old. Like it's turning brown already. And that's what they used for their promotional photo.
They could try a little bit harder on that part.
This is insane.
They did the whole truth in advertising there. They're like, the lettuce that you get might suck. This is what's going to look like if it does.
I guess so. This is a crime on a plate. I can't believe that someone has assembled this and is going to try to sell it as food. This is incredible to me. This is one of the most insane things I've ever seen.
Amazing.
Yeah, that is just crazy. Apparently the new Superhero Time intro, which is Superhero Time is the block of programming where they air the Super Sentai show and the Kamen Rider show together. And they usually have Superhero Time commercials that feature both shows together. And apparently the Superhero Time intro now has Baku standing in front of a gun barrel, just like the Bond intros, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Does it play the music and do the gunshot? Or?
I don't know. We'll have to watch it after this and see. James Gunn has been mentioning Kamen Rider recently. Apparently someone asked him, is this the P cycle from episodes inspired by the bike's Megaforce? And he said, no, it's inspired by Kamen Rider and 70s Captain America. So James Gunn out there holding it down and still being a big fan of Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
And then finally Shade says, all right, now that everything's done, my thoughts on episode 1 of Kamen Rider Zeztz is that it's really good. It's really freaking good. This might be one of my favorite pilots in Kamen Rider, period. One thing I find really funny about the first episode is that for 2 years in a row, we have a Kamen Rider protagonist getting hit by a car. That is true. If you remember that at the beginning of Gav, he saves the little boy and then gets hit by the car, and those two guys fly out the window of the car.
That's true. I forgot about that until you reminded me, and that's his first little best friend.
Yep. So far, the series is hitting all the good spots for me. Classic Kamen Rider design, classic Kamen Rider setting with one lonely hero so far. Potentially crossing paths with the police. And like Baku, I actually really like the spy movies. I've seen all the Mission Impossible movies, all the Kingsman, and weirdly, only 2 Bond movies. Might have to change that in the near future.
Yeah, there's like 30 of them. Need to have that now. Sooner rather than later.
Heck, I even loved Cars 2. Cars 2 is my favorite Cars movie. That's how much I love spy movies.
Was Cars 2 a spies movie?
I was going to ask that. I don't know. I've never seen it.
I just remember the one where they raced around and then Rascal played Life is a Highway and made a super popular cover song.
Yeah, and then there was for some reason a Southern tow truck was there. And yeah, I don't know. Cars is a fever dream. Shade says, Kamen Rider Zeztz feels like it was engineered for me personally. I watched Zetz's premiere on Shouts' YouTube channel, and I sat there for a whole hour rewatching the episode over and over again. Then I watched it 2 more times on my TV. We got dubs and subs here in Vietnam. It's decent. All in all, I'm really looking forward to seeing more of Zeztz, and I can't wait until next episode. Until next time. So yeah, thanks very much for the email, Shade. Once again, cast@KamenRiderSucks.com is the email address. All right. Of course, I also have to remind everyone about our Patreon. If this is your first time listening, we have a special Patreon. That is patreon.com/thecommentwriters. And over there, you can find all kinds of bonus content. Toby and I put out at least a couple pieces of bonus content every week. Generally, those are in the form of us watching either Kamen Rider or Sentai or some other tokusatsu show and talking over it. You get to hear us discuss it and joke about it, and you get to watch it along with us. So far, we've watched a bunch of seasons, and you can sign up now and get access to all of them for $3 a month. So great deal in tokusatsu. I would say the best deal in tokusatsu there on our Patreon. So once again, patreon.com/thecommentwriters will get you access to that. Currently, we're watching through a couple of Sentai. We're watching Dawn Brothers, and we are watching Goes Yuger. So if that interests you, you can sign up and check those out. Or if you're not sure if that is for you or not, we have a bunch of free episodes as well. The first 3 episodes of all the series that we've watched are up for free. So you can find that link on the Patreon, and you can follow the Patreon for free as well. So yeah, go check it out. No commitment necessary. You can watch a few episodes and see if you like it. And you also get access to our Discord over there too. And like I said, we love hanging out in the Discord. We hopped in a voice call and watched the first episode of Zeztz this week with the Discord. So it's super fun. So that's another reason to join up in the Patreon. All right. Toby, I think that's going to wrap us up for the first episode of Zeztz. Why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
On Twitter, it's Life of Tobes. On YouTube, it's Tobes Plays. And on Retro Achievements, it's Tobes Plays as well.
And for me, you can find me on Blue Sky. I am at meek.lol over there. You can also find the show on Blue Sky at KamenRiderSucks.com. And we hope that you are liking the show. We hope that you subscribe and review and rate and follow and whatever mechanism you could do on whatever platform you're on. All that helps. And if you like it, tell a friend and bring them for the next episode.
And then tell them to bring a friend, and then tell your friend's friend to bring with this. We can probably take over the world. Yeah,
we have a perfect pyramid scheme going. Get in on the ground floor while you can.
Absolutely.
So we hope you join us back here for case number 2 of Kamen Rider Zeztz. But in the meantime, we hope you have a great week, everybody. Peace.